iPods have picture cameras.
See?
It's got a camera on it.
That does
No,
not.
that's an iPod 3 or 2.
Didn't
It doesn't have a camera.
I had one of those that had a camera on it? I could have
No.
sworn.
No, you had a newer one then. It had
Yeah.
like an iPod.
Mine had a camera on it.
I remember my iPod 3 or 2.
No, but for-
That might be on
I probably can't even get Microsoft Teams on it. Yeah.
You probably could barely text people on it too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no on it. I don't know why. What? No, I can't go.
It's so strange. I'd rather not have a phone than have
Look,
that.
look. It's just not the camera iPhone.
My old iPod, which is probably the next version, because I remember it had a silver back too. That was my favorite. Even before I got a phone, that was my favorite one.
I'm just saying this right now. It's
Because that's like a water.
Yeah.
I thought you actually got a phone.
yeah, it's a phone.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Dude, I got so tired of you texting me on Microsoft Teams. I was like,
I'm
not even
I
gonna answer.
texted you 3 messages.
Okay, questions on the homework.
And then they blocked the messages.
Thank
I was
God.
not mad.
Yes.
Number 12.
All right, everyone hush so we can go over the homework. We're talking about number 12. Number 12. All right, number 12 says the following. Non-collinear. Collinear means you are on the same line. Non-collinear means you're on not the same line. They could be on different lines or segments or just floating out there all by themselves. So it says non-collinear points D, E, and F. So I'm just drawing it. I'm not saying this is the final picture. So D, E, F. Clearly, these 3 points are not on the same line. I can make D and E or D and F be on the same line. I can make F and E be on the same line. But the way that I drew them, basically the corners of a triangle, I can't. They're not all the same thing. Further, it says that and point G, DE is or segment DE and segment EF. So now my picture goes out the window because it's no longer good. So I need to create segment DE. Okay, that's easy enough. So segment DE. So there's DE. And then it says ray EF. Well, ray EF starts on E and it goes in some direction. So ray EF, I'm just going to draw it like this. I could have drawn it in any direction. And it says point G. It never tells me where to put point G. It says it's non-collinear. So where could G be?
Floating.
Floating in the
It could. It could be right here, right? The only thing it says that D, E, F, and G are non-collinear. That means all 4 points are not on the same line, right? Well, I just made that. So G floating around would be fine as well, too. I mean, there's lots of answers for that one. Lots of answers. All right, anyone else? All right, so questions 5 through 12. I got to look at your picture. All right, we'll start off with 1.
2.
That is, or sorry, number 2, because I gave you evens. Thank you. That would be segment NA or segment AN. You could have said it either way. It's not 2 different answers, it's 1. All right, there's lots of answers for question 4. Either ray KN or ray KA. I said I would look at 6 through 12, so we're picking up on 14. Need 3 coplanar. That means they're on the same plane. Now remember, if they're on the same plane and it's a 2D picture, that means they're inside the parallelogram if they're coplanar. And it says that are not collinear. That means they can't be on the same line. So here's the book suggestion. I mean, there's lots of possibilities here. QR and V are on the same plane, but not on the same line. QRP are on the same plane, but not the same line. QRT, now you just need one of these. QRT or QRS, so forth and so on. Okay. 16, coplanar. It says name 4 coplanar. That means 4 points that are inside that thing, and here's the issue. 16 was the hardest question on the test. Right? They don't say which plane. They just say coplanar. If you have points that are off the given plane, they could still be on the same plane, right? So their instance, if you have 2 lines, think of this. Here are 2 lines. Here's the plane, flat surface. And this is kind of like the picture. The picture kind of looks like this. You got two lines going through this plane, and like this. Well, any points that are on these two lines would be on a different plane. Oh, by the way, there's 4 points that are on these two lines, and that's what they kind of wanted you to do. And actually, there's 6 points on those lines. So anything that involved an S, a Q, a P, an R, or a T, any combination of those 4 out of the 5 would all be coplanar. 16 was hard. 16 was really hard. Let's see, 18 was that construction. Everybody do okay with that construction?
Yeah.
So in geometry, when you draw something, it's always called a construction. You will not see this again, the compass, until we get to sophomore year high school when we take geometry. Because we do lots of constructions in geometry. But between now and sophomore year, you're never going to use your compass again. Okay? If you want to, when we do circles, is the very next section that we do. So I'm talking about once we're done with this chapter. So we'll pick it up on number 20. That would be EG or GE. And 22, that would be Ray FG. Ray FG. Okay? All right. I have this every year. I think that this section is kind of weak in the sense of what we need to accomplish. We need to accomplish just the basic things. We got to be comfortable with naming points. We got to be comfortable with naming segments. We got to be comfortable naming lines. We need to be comfortable naming rays. The plane thing is an additional thing, but those 4 things, points, segments, rays, and lines, are the critical thing. So I do this every single year, even when we don't have a break like parent-teacher conference here, is that the very next day after we do section 6.1, I hand out this Mongoso, it looks huge, worksheet. It has a lot of pages, but it's quick. It's not like it's that much work. It just has a lot of pages because there's geometry, you got to draw things, so it takes a lot of space. So I'm going to collect this homework. I'm going to go over it one more time, the class from Friday, and then I'm going to hand out this big honking packet, right? The big honking packet. Every one of these takes 5 seconds to answer, right? There's not that many of them. It's just that they're shapes, they're drawings, so it's a lot of pages here. It's not that much work. The first page can be done in 15 seconds. And if you take longer than 15 seconds, then you clearly don't understand what a point is. Okay? I'm not saying every page is 15 seconds, but many of the pages are really quickly done. Okay? You have to know how to name things. You have to know how to name things, right? All right, so I will collect homework here in a second. What we're going to do right now is quickly go over this so that I can walk around while you're doing this worksheet and make sure that you have this down. So really quickly, the class that we did, points, line, and planes. So the first thing we talked about in geometry is this thing called a point. I literally touched the air up here. I said, hey, this is a location in space. And that's the idea of a point. It's just a location, right? It doesn't have any size. Yes, we generally draw points with circles that are filled in, but we could draw any shape. We could have a triangle represent a point. Points are named with capital letters. That capital letter can go anywhere around, including away from it. You'll see on the worksheet, sometimes there isn't enough space next to the dot to put the letter A, so they put the A up here and put an arrow pointing to it. You'll see it on the worksheet. If we take 2 points, we play connect the dots, we make what's called a segment or a line segment, right? And this is a part of a line. It's not the whole darn line. In geometry, we have a specific way of naming segments. Segments are named with, well, the 2 endpoints. But it doesn't say which one to start with, so you can start with either A or B. The symbol for segment is, well, it's a segment over the top. And I said that when you see this segment on the top, it's saying that's its name. It's not saying how long it is, what's its length. It's saying that's its name. So on a test, if I ask you to name that segment, you can either choose A, B, or BA. Okay? We went to if I have a segment that has 3 points, you actually get 3 separate segments out of it that can be named 2 different ways. So you get 6 total names for 3 segments. You got the small segment, X, Y, or YX. You got the medium segment, YZ or ZY. You get the larger one, or the whole thing, X, Z, or ZX. Okay? Gets a little bit weird when we talk about the lengths of segment. Jenna, head up, pay attention. Okay? It gets a little weird when we talk about how long something is. Remember, the name of this gets the little segment over the top of it. If I take a ruler out and I measure it, blame geometry, don't blame me, they erase the segment and they put an equal sign. So if the question says how long is the thing called AB, you literally take your ruler out, you measure it, right? And you write it without the segment. When you see, as we go further in the book, in this chapter, when you see it without the segment over the top, they're asking you how long it is. Right? If it's a segment over the top, they're saying what's its name. Further, we said that there's this idea in geometry that when you have two different segments, two different names, A, B, E, F, and they physically have the same length. In other words, AB is equal to AEF. Now we're talking lengths here, that we have a third symbol that represents this idea of two different things, right, that have the same measurement. And I should be careful when I say two different things. I mean, they're both segments, but they're different segments. One's green, one's red, one's AB, one's EF. And that symbol, when the things have the same measurement, is the congruency symbol. The congruency symbol means it's the same shape and the same size. Okay? That's when we use the word congruent. So this is two or more shapes that have the same shape and the same size. That is confusing, and it will be confusing until we get to high school and you deal with this every single day. Equals and congruency. Remember, the length of the segments, right, is done without the segment over the top. Okay? Further, when two different things that are the same shape have the same size, we can use the congruency symbol. All right. The last idea for segments is that if you have a segment and you find the middle point, like literally the middle point. So there's a point here, we'll call it M, right? M for midpoint. That is called the midpoint. The midpoint cuts a segment into half, creating two equal parts. EM is the same as MF. EM is congruent to MF, right? Two same things that have the same size and the same measurement and the same thing. Further, we talked about if you start at one point and you go in one direction forever, you never stop. That's what this arrow means. That's called a ray. Rays are named specifically. It starts with the end point. It doesn't start with the one close to the arrow. It starts with the end point, and then any point along the way is fine. Okay? And I do mean any point. AB, that's called ray AB right there. Ray AB. That means it starts at A and goes to the right forever, never stops. The arrow at the top doesn't mean it goes to the right. It can go to the left, it can go up, it can go down. Our symbol always points to the right. Okay, so this is not ray AB, this is ray BA. Ray BA. It starts at the end point. In this case, it goes to the left forever. Okay. And then further, this is the one that we had some arguments over. We said that how many different rays here? Well, ray CA starts at C and goes forever to the left. If I name that ray CB, that still starts at C and goes to the left forever. So in other words, ray CA and CB, although the way I drew them right here, they don't look the same. But remember, go to the left forever means it would not stop. So it wouldn't stop at B. Therefore, ray CA and CB are actually the same ray. Does that make sense? This is the hardest part about rays, is understanding that concept, that it doesn't stop. If, however, I don't start at C, but I start at B, that's a different ray. I mean, that's literally physically a different ray. I start at B and go on forever. Okay, so the BA and these two right here, which are, by the way, the same ray, are different rays. Different rays, yes?
Technically, BC isn't a ray.
BC is not a ray, but CB is a ray. And if I said BC, then I made a mistake, but I don't think I did.
Well, I was reading that back.
Okay. The next one is that we have 2 points and we go in opposite direction, not one direction, but opposite directions forever. That's the definition of a line. A line is named by any 2 points along the line. Because remember, it goes on forever, right? Rays only go in one direction forever, but lines go in opposite directions forever. So all you need is to pick 2 points on the line and you got the name of the line. There's this third way of naming a line. It's a lowercase italicized letter. It's used when there's not enough space on the diagram to put 2 points. It gets too messy. So you will see this today. right? You will see just a little lowercase letter just hanging out all by itself. This is also the name of this line. So N is not a point, it's just the name of the line. You'll see this especially when we get to high school and geometry. I mean, the diagrams get really messy really quickly. Who's lost on anything I've done so far? All right, so what's the name of this line? GR. Okay. We can't measure a line. Remember, we can measure a segment with a ruler. You can't measure a line. Lines never stop, right? You can't measure rays. You can't measure lines. Okay, so we don't have that, take the symbol over off the top of it. Last point was this. Lines are named by any 2 points. So it turns out that all of these are actually the same line. Because lines never stop. So it doesn't matter whether you call it AC or AB, it's the same line. Hard concept to understand. Okay? But if you understand what it means by never stopping, then you kind of get the idea. Okay, all the same line. The last things we did were we had the words collinear, coplanar. I'm not going to cover planes again today. We're going to stop at lines. But collinear means that you live on the same line. If you're right, cooperate, that sort of thing, right, you're working with. Collinear means that you live on the same line. So collinear points A, B, and C. A, B, and C are all on the same line, right? This is the picture of non-collinear. A, B, and C are not on the same line. I mean, I can draw another line between A and B very easily. They're still non-collinear. A, B, and C are not on the same line. They are on different lines. So that's the idea of collinear and non-collinear. Questions? All right. We got plenty of time to do this entire packet. It is critical that we get the packet done and get it done correctly. Chase?
Is the packet homework?
Packet is homework. However, my belief is that you will all get this done in class. If there's any question on any specific, you're going to fly through this. But if there's any question on something, make sure you ask. So 2 things. 1, Landon's coming around to hand this out. Ty's coming around to grab your homework. Remember I said that homework after a 5-day weekend counts as double. So for those of you that forgot to turn in your homework, for those of you who forgot to turn in your homework, you're losing a lot of points today.
Should it be like 5 times as much as 5 days?
I would really hurt some people if I made it 5 times. Okay. Hey, I got to meet with many, well, not many, with some of your parents during parent-teacher conference. For those of you that we met, right, we made some promises to each other of things that we're going to change. You need to do those. You need to change those things, right? Let's get back to where we're doing fine. Kai, keep your hands to yourself. All right, any questions on what we're doing? All right, if there's any questions about the worksheet, make sure you call me around. I'm going to be walking around looking at things. Make sure you get it done. Hey, don't forget tonight, log on to Microsoft Teams, do that one assignment for math. It takes you all 5 seconds. Type thing. You can attach any picture you want to the homework. I don't care. Right? It doesn't have to be from your phone if you just want to attach a picture. I just need to make sure that you know how to attach pictures. I think all your teachers are happy to attach pictures. So. And by the way, we're redoing, section 6.1 here. So for those of you that are trying to improve your grades, we're starting a new chapter here. Calendar, what was the calendar? When is our next quiz? Tomorrow? Quiz next week. So we got a ways to go for the quiz. Thank you.
You have too many extra.
I have them for I use the same packet for course 1 and course 2, so I don't use it for geometry.
Wait, we used this last year? We didn't use this last
Yeah, we did.
We did? I don't.
Boy, you're gonna make you feel silly.
We actually don't. I don't remember doing this. I swear we did. Do you want to make it take B?
What's that?
Okay.
What's that? What's that?
No, I mean the
What's that?
packet.
You did it last year.
I didn't know.
Oh, the packet. No, this is new for this year. I
I
got tired of the classes doing poorly on just naming the simple things, so I said I gotta do a packet.
Who just thought of it on there?
Donovan, questions?
Hi. Yes, I have a question. So which one or what assignment is the one that you want us to send you a picture off of?
You don't have to do that. This is for all the people in class right now that are not e-learners. You guys are already doing it, so you guys already know what to do.
So can I just press turn in?
I don't think I gave you the assignment. I want to say I only assigned it to the people that are physical. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I left your name off.
Okay.
So I don't. When you look at your assignments, do you see something that says non-e-learner assignment?
No.
Yeah, I did it last or yesterday. I'm pretty sure I left your name off.
Okay.
All right, hey Donovan, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to stop the video.
Okay.
You should see the packet, right?
Is it the points and lines and stuff?
Yes.
The point line thing?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions, send me a chat or email.
Later.
Okay. Bye.
All right. See ya. He got a haircut.
His hair was blonde.
It was
I'm sorry.